Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I always love how I get up in the morning sometimes and don't know what I'm going to do for a vlog, but then fate steps in. That happened today. I was doing a live stream about an hour ago, and apparently my mom tried to call into the live stream, but the phone didn't ring. In fact, I didn't realize that she'd even called until I got a notification that she'd left a voicemail. Now, that isn't terribly uncommon. My phone does that sometimes, where it doesn't ring when somebody calls, and I find out when the voicemail comes in. So I got the voicemail, listened to it, and saw that it was her, and tried to call her back, and the call wouldn't go through. And it said that I wasn't connected to the network. And I tried rebooting the phone a couple times. It didn't get me anywhere. And so now what I'm doing is I'm actually on a chat with my cell provider, and they're trying to figure it out. Initially, they've been unable to do a whole lot with it, and actually they've escalated me now to what they call Tier 2, and we're going to look into the issue and see if I can figure out what's going on with my phone. I have other digital services, I can get on, network related things, anything that's connected, via the Wi-Fi in the house, but nothing through the cell. So we're going to look at this, we're going to try and figure out what's going on, and we're going to troubleshoot it together. Let's get going. Alright, the person in tech support is actually offering some really good suggestions and thoughts on where to look. And interestingly enough, some of their suggestions are kind of triggering my troubleshooting skills and getting me to look at things. One of the things he asked is, I actually have two devices that are connected to the network. My phone, and I have a tablet. And he asked if I was having problems with data on the tablet, and I said no, but then again, the tablet is usually connected via the Wi-Fi network in the house. It doesn't usually connect to the outside world via the cell towers. So that got me thinking, and I disconnected the tablet from the Wi-Fi and found that I was able to still connect through the cell network. So it isn't something on the towers that's necessarily the problem. It sounds like it's something local on the phone. I then started looking a little bit deeper, and I decided to pull the phone out of the case, and I found something interesting. Let me show you what that is. While I was talking to the guy in chat, I decided to pull the phone outside of my case, and I noticed that the back of the phone is actually coming off. In fact, it's coming off to the point where I can actually peel it back and look at the insides. I don't necessarily think that's the issue, but that is definitely a problem. So at this point, I've actually pulled the plug on the chat, and I'm going to have to go over to the phone place and see if my insurance that I have with this phone will have them replace it for me, or if I'm just going to have to get a new phone. So yeah, I don't know, that happens. The reason actually I got the insurance for this phone initially was because the first time I did this, the back came off too. So I don't know, there's something funny with maybe this version of the Galaxy phones that's resulting in the glue not holding up over time. I mean, I've gotten 4 years of service out of this phone, so maybe it is time to replace it, and we're going to go from there. So I don't know, that's just sometimes what happens, but I'm going to run over to the cell phone store and see what they got to say. Alright, I'm back from the Verizon place, and I'm kind of sort of thinking at this point I'm not going to go with Verizon again. It's not necessarily because of this thing, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this new cell phone provider called Pure Talk. And I've been thinking about doing that. It's on the same 5G networks as all the big carriers, but since they don't have all the brick and mortar stores and all the other stuff that they support, like Verizon and AT&T and all the rest of them do, their prices are a bit lower, and you can get the phones, and they don't quite jerk you around price-wise the way some of the big providers do. I'm thinking about doing that. Now, it's weird. I did get out to Verizon, and I ended up waiting around in their store for a long time. There was only one person in the store today, and they had only one customer in front of me, but they were having all sorts of problems getting that customer going. So I ended up waiting my turn for like an hour in there, and while that was happening, I started thinking, you know what, I gotta go check out these Pure Talk people. And I started looking at them online, and it does seem like the prices are a lot lower. And I can get one of the same phones that I was seeing in the Verizon store for a lot less money. So I think I'm gonna go online and look at them a little bit more closely, see what I can get, see what my options are. They're completely an online store. And so, I don't have to go, I'm not going to be going into a store and getting it. I'll just order it online. They'll have it shipped to me, and we'll figure out how all of that stuff works. And this video will probably end up extending into a couple days. So I'm going to get online right now, order that, figure out what my options are, order it, figure out how we're going to get it all configured, because what I ultimately want to do is connect up with the same telephone number and all that stuff. And that's I don't know exactly how that works. I'm sure they've got that figured out, and we'll go from there. Now, it is weird. When I was in the car on the way back from the Verizon store, I just decided for fun to try calling my mom again. The call went right through, and I ended up talking to her while I was driving home from the store, and everything seemed to be going fine. And the second I walked in the garage door, the call dropped. And then I was starting to get the whole, the network isn't available thing again. And I went out in the backyard. I couldn't get it to work. I reset the phone by powering it down and restarting it again. And I went out in the front yard. I called my mom, and everything was fine again. And we had our typical Sunday afternoon conversation when we sitting out in the front yard baking at 100 degrees with probably 100% humidity. And we did our thing. And then we ended the call, and I basically said, you know what, I want to keep the call going, and I want to walk back into the house and see when the connection drops. And I got into the house, walked through the living room, everything was fine. About the point I got into the kitchen, the call dropped again. And, I don't know what's going on there. There is something weird. I don't think it's necessarily anything that changed with the house, because basically the only thing that's changed from the house since the last time I used the phone is I've got the new pump out in the pool in the backyard, and I can't imagine that would have anything to do with anything. So I'm wondering if at some point the antenna for the cell connection got damaged somewhat. It doesn't quite have the strength that it needs to have to get through the walls of the house. A lot of the house here is made out of brick, and so that tends to be a little bit unfriendly in terms of transmitting radio signals. So it's possible that has something to do with it, and the combination of the problem I'm having here and the fact that my phone is 4 years old and the back is falling off of it now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with a new phone and see where that leads us. So I'm going to, like I said, going to go visit the Pure Talk people online, see what my options are, and see what we can do. So I'll see you a little bit later, and we'll talk about what happens. All right, I just subscribed with Pure Talk. Basically, I get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A14 5G cell phone, an unlimited data plan, and all of that for $71 a month. That's about 2/3 of what I was paying for Verizon. So the phone's supposed to be here in a couple days. One of the wild cards that I was unsure of is what happens with the transferring of the phone, the number over. Because it's not just a matter of buying the phone, but you have to transfer the phone or the number over. And apparently with the phone you can get you can automatically transfer one number. They just ask for all the relevant information, and I guess when the phone arrives it will just include the new number. It'll be ready to go right out of the box. So looking forward to this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. That was my confirmation that just came through on the email that you may have heard, and I guess we're going to give you a review of what the Pure Talk phone is like, and what the Pure Talk cell service is like, and also how well the phone itself works. So looking forward to doing this. Probably will finish this up in a couple days when the phone comes, but you won't have to wait that long. You'll just have to wait until now. All right, I'm into my next weekend, and I'm going to try and go get my phone today. It turns out when I bought the phone, they promised that they'd deliver it in 2 days via FedEx. But I bought it on a Sunday, and FedEx doesn't pick up on Sunday, and Monday was Juneteenth, which is a federal holiday. So they didn't deliver it, they didn't pick it up on Monday, and so it didn't actually get shipped out until Tuesday. And 2 days after Tuesday was Thursday, and I was back at work. And since they required a signature to take delivery of the phone, they wouldn't just leave it on the doorstep. They left a couple of tags on Thursday and again on Friday that they tried to deliver it, but there was nobody there. Now, I'm going to run over to the store, over to the FedEx place, and I'm going to hope actually that it's there and that it's not out on a truck and they're going to try and deliver it again today. But we're going to run over to the store, see if we can pick up the phone, and go from there. All right, well, I expected that was going to happen. I got over to the FedEx place. It wasn't there, and it was apparently out on the truck to be delivered a third time. That's supposed to come today. Now, I guess it could have been worse. I could have gotten back and discovered that while I was at the FedEx place, they attempted to make the third delivery. Fortunately, that didn't happen, so I'm just going to kind of hang out here, and hopefully the phone will arrive soon here, because I got other things to do today. So I'll catch up with you in a little bit. It's funny, I got about 3 videos right now that I'm trying to finish up that for one reason or another got started, but I couldn't finish them in the same day. And I was out trying to find a part for my lawnmower, and they weren't able to help me. The place that I thought maybe might be an outside chance of having the part didn't have it. I knew it was an outside chance, but we tried anyway, so I'm gonna have to order that. But when I came back, as I drove into the driveway, the FedEx guy pulled up with my phone. So let's unbox this thing and let's get going, get this thing put together. Hooray, it's finally here. All right, so there's my phone, and I got a SIM starter kit. The SIM chip is what basically tells the phone what telephone number it's connected to. So I'm going to get that all set up. Usually what has to happen is these things come out of the box, they aren't fully charged. So the first thing I'm going to do is put it on the charger, because among the things I'm going to have to do in setting it up is I'm going to have to sync it with my current phone and move all my current information over there. So according to the instructions, the first things I have to do is go to puretalk.com and click on the activate button. So we're going to do that. I've actually got the phone plugged in to the computer here so we can start charging it, because like I said a little bit ago, it doesn't always have much of a charge when they ship it. So I'm going to get this thing activated and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Alright, I got the service supposedly transferred over, and I got the SIM card installed. I'm doing a little charge right now. I gotta admit, this was a little bit frustrating, not because of anything from Pure Talk, but because of Verizon dragging their heels on all of this. You need a lot of information in order to transfer, and I get that. You know, you don't want someone just being able to transfer without, verifying that they are who they say they are, but there's a personal ID number, a PIN number that you need to be able to transfer over to another carrier, and I had a heck of a time getting into that. I tried doing it through the phone, and of course the phone doesn't work in the house. Those of you who watched the live stream a week ago saw that firsthand, and so I tried going onto the computer and doing it that way, and I kept talking to this computer that didn't understand the question. It said, I told them I needed a transfer pin. I said, okay, we need you to log in. I give them my telephone number, my last name, and my zip code. And they said, that doesn't match our records. And I said, okay, well, can I talk to a person? Well, you need to log in first. And I said, I can't log in. And so, okay, well, then you need to go sign in. Well, okay, I tried signing in, but that doesn't work either. Can I talk to a person? Well, you need to log in first. This is what you run into with when you're dealing with a computer. They just know how to respond. They don't sense your frustration. But I figured out a way, and you may wish to try this at some point in the future. Like I said, I'm texting back and forth with this computer that's just talking in circles. I ultimately ended up typing in the words you to them, and at that point they replied and said, you seem frustrated, would you like to talk to a person? I finally got to talk to a person, and they got me transferred right over real quick. So they were able to get me a PIN number, and we got everything transferred in. So like I said, we're going to let the phone charge for a little while. I think I'm going to run over to Best Buy and try and get a protective case for this, and I also want to get a power charger. It comes with a cable, but it's a USB Type 3 connector, and I don't have a plug with a USB Type 3 connector. So I'm going to go over and get one of those and get a case for this thing, and hopefully we'll have this thing all taken care of before too long. Alright, we got the phone partially charged up, so what I'm doing right now is I'm using an app that's available on the Android called Smart Switch. It allows me to actually connect the two phones together, and right now I'm transferring all of the data from my old phone to my new phone. This is going to take a while, so I've got them both plugged in. So we're holding the charge, and like I said, it's going to take about 30 minutes to transfer everything. But basically it's going to transfer all my apps, all my emails, all my settings, all my everything. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Alright, so we got the synchronization complete. I had a couple little questions I had to figure out, but I was able to figure it out online. For one thing, the old phone had an additional SD card in it, and I wanted to move it over to this phone, and since I hadn't installed the SD card in the old one, I wasn't really sure how to A, remove it from the old phone, and B, put it into this phone. But I was able to figure that out by doing a little bit of a search online and got the SD card. The thing with the SD card is that I have all my music on there. So I have like a 64 gig SD card in addition to the memory that's already on board on this thing. And if I tried to move everything from the old phone, both the internal and external storage over to this one, there just wasn't enough room. So like I said, I moved the SD card over. That's working fine now. I still don't have access to the phone, but I contacted tech support at Pure Talk, and they think it's just going to take a little while for the connection to go all the way across. So I'm going to give it a day or two. They say it might be as much as 72 hours before the full connection goes all the way through. But all of the apps are in. Everything seems to be working well. And so far, I'm really happy with the phone. I actually did a little bit of a test a couple minutes ago where I went live for a couple minutes on just a couple seconds on YouTube, because one of the things I've noticed with the cell phone that I had in the past is I couldn't do full high definition live streams from the cell phone when I was broadcasting live. So I wanted to see if that was different, and no, it still doesn't do full 1080 video on this. I think that might be a limit that's built into YouTube, maybe because they consider the fact that you're going through the cell network and all that fun stuff, and there just might not be enough data transmission rate to deal with that. But so far I'm really happy with this. I want to play with it for a while, but so far I'm happy with Pure Talk. So I'm going to end this video now. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.